Okay, so let's just recap what we know now, what happened over the weekend with the Iranian attack on Israel. First of all, the Iran State TV used footage from the Texas fire. Also, there was footage of One Direction.
The band?
The band, and it was Israelis panicking while under attack from missiles and drones. Unfortunately, it was just a throng of excited One Direction fans.
Wow.
Yeah.
The fact that those things look the same may make you rethink things if you're a One Direction fan.
It really does. Mm-hmm. They also used footage of a forest fire in Chile. They're running all kinds of lies. I don't know if their people understand that they really made no impact at all.
I'm kind of, I hope, this is weird, but I kind of hope that they are able to convince their people that they made an impact.
Well,
because that maybe this will somewhat.
So the President Raisi boasted the attack had, quote, taught a lesson to the Zionist regime. They were chanting with their fists in the air, death to Israel, death to America, yay. And Hezbollah supporters were out in the streets of southern Beirut honking their horns and celebrating. And they warned that Jordan would be the next target if it took any measures in Israel's defense. So everybody's just like holding back, except for Israel. Now, my goals may not be the same goals as the Israelis. My interests are, let's not have any terrorism here in America, and let's try to bring peace to the world. Israel has played this game for so long, they're not going to sit back. At least the word we're getting from their war committee was that it was a brawl. The defense minister stated yesterday that Israel's confrontation with Iran is not over yet. The public security minister demanded a crushing attack against Iran. Another minister declared Iran's audacity in such an attack must be erased. Meanwhile, Iran's mission to the UN said, should the Israeli regime make another mistake, Iran's response will be considerably more severe, and warned the U.S. to stay away. Okay, I don't know what they can do with their missiles, quite honestly. I think it was embarrassing. If that were us, well, that would be us, because Joe Biden is in charge. Maybe Joe Biden helped them with the planning of this mission. But if that were us, that would be humiliating. Absolutely humiliating. And I mean, wouldn't you say it was the most lopsided thing you've seen possibly ever with the amount that they fought back?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to a couple of examples. The first Gulf War.
Yeah,
remember that.
Except they fought back and they did hit targets. This one hit. They say
nothing.
3. The outside is 10. That they hit 10. That missiles hit 10 things. They fired over 300.
300, right?
Yeah.
The other one that comes to mind is the way we reacted in Afghanistan when the Taliban started taking it over again. We just kind of all just ran.
Yes.
And that was embarrassing.
Yes.
I was embarrassed that way, the way that I think Iran should be embarrassed this way. That's if their intent was to actually get a lot of damage. I mean, look, the alternate theory, we talked about it yesterday, is they floated a bunch of flying lawnmowers over there with 12 hours of notice for a reason to say, hey, shoot all these down because we don't want to start an international war, but if we don't do something in our country, our people are going to overthrow us.
You're sitting in Israel, and I say, Stu, what are we going to do? Now, you're an Israeli. Mm-hmm. You're in the defense cabinet. And I say, what are we going to do? Because the whole world hates us right now. And if we retaliate, then we're troubled. Should we just walk away and call this thing?
Again, there's so much to weigh here, and I am an idiot. But if I were, but I will tell you, my initial instinct was, you've got a free hall pass.
No. Your first initial impression is you're an idiot. I just don't want that to get lost.
Sorry, my second impression after I'm an idiot
good.
was
your first one was, again,
I'm an idiot.
Okay, good.
Number 2. And I should not be making these decisions for any nation.
Right,
we should be clear about that. That is not a good policy because I'm an idiot.
You're an idiot.
So idiots.
You could work for the Biden administration.
I will say, maybe I should be leading the country.
Right.
This one here, because it seems like that's the path to success these days.
Correct.
But I will say, what my thought would be is you have a free hall pass to do another Syria type of operation, right? Like you can do, you of course are justified. Israel, if I was an Israeli, you would be justified to launch at least 300 missiles towards Iran. You're justified morally to do so. However, what I would like to do is tamp this down so it doesn't inflame into something worse. And if you were to do something, again, like they did in Syria, where you took out some important overseas, not in Iran type of operation that would actually benefit you, not like as a show of power or strength. If you're Israel, you don't need to do that. What you need to do is do something that will actually benefit you. And I think it would be difficult for the world to be all that upset if you went and you did another operation like that.
I forgot. Yeah, I was going to say, no.
That's a smart answer for an idiot. You got to be.
I was going to say,
go ahead.
I forgot that you were an idiot because, that would be tough for the world to say. You remember you're a Jew here.
Right, so they're going to say whatever they want. Right.
Say whatever they want.
There you go.
You're always the bad guy.
But there is a line, right? Like the world wasn't overly outraged about the Syria operation in the first place. Iran was, and everyone was talking about what the response would be, but it wasn't.
Right.
No one was like, "Oh gosh, I can't believe they did that." I mean, some people did, of course. I mean, look, there was 150 countries that voted to condemn Israel over the whole Gaza situation. And when given the opportunity, I think it was Austria that proposed an amendment that said, hey, shouldn't we condemn Hamas for October 7th in this thing? And they voted no.
Yeah, no. Of course
they said no to that. So at some level, you can't care at all what some of these countries think because they're just going to think Jew equals bad. But I think to not make this go over the top and inflame out of control and also get something done that you're completely justified for and will benefit your country. If you can walk that line, if there's another target like that, that seems highly justified and appropriate. What do you think? You're not an idiot, right? You're a doctor. So
I'm a doctor, so I'm not an idiot, and I'm not going to answer questions from idiots.
You notice this? Does anyone in the audience even notice he does this? He asks these tough questions and then never gives his own answer. It's pathetic.
I'm trying to move the show. Look, if I were, you don't want me. You don't want me anywhere near the buttons of for any country, because we would run out of missiles quickly. Because I have a short attention span, and I also have a short fuse. It'd be like, they did what? Yeah, launch. I would be over there saying, the world is going to hate us anyway. They're building a nuclear weapon supply. We know now what they're capable of doing from the sky. That's great. But if they get a nuclear weapon over our border any way, shape, or form, millions will die. And we know they're serious. And the rest of the world can say whatever they want. But take out their nuclear facilities.
In country.
I
mean, look, he's been wanting to do that for a very long time.
I know.
And I think that is entirely justified.
He has to. Nobody else in the world's going to do it until they ignite one of those things.
It's true. I mean, it is probably does extend this though, right? I mean, that's the risk. I mean, if you,
it's going to.
They've been looking. Look, Netanyahu's been wanting to do this forever, and I think has been looking for an opening to do it. This is
justifiably so.
Justifiably so. Again, I'm not being critical.
Yeah.
If I were Israeli, I think probably I would be for a much more aggressive response. Right.
Enough is enough.
But I am not, and I'm thinking more selfishly, frankly, as an American.
Yeah, me too.
So, I mean, I think that's appropriate for us to do. I mean, America First is a dumb sort of slogan, but also very true, right? Like, it's also misused by many factions over the years.
Correct.
But I mean, it is the appropriate priority list for the United States.
If you are going to take care of somebody, you don't swamp the lifeboats. That's what we're doing with our border. We're swamping the lifeboats. How are we going to help anybody if we can't help ourselves? How are we going to help anybody if we're fighting terror here? I don't want terror here.
Right.
But we've already swamped the lifeboats with a whole bunch of terrorists, apparently, that are already here. But we're not doing anything about it. So my America first kind of has to go to let Israel do what Israel cares to do. They can handle it. They're big boys. They can handle it. We'll handle our thing over here. Now, with that being said, I know that Iran is not going to let us get away with that. Iran will immediately activate. They're already activating the people. Who do you think? Hamas is paid for by the Iranians. So when you're in New York City and you're holding a Hamas flag, you are doing the bidding of the Iranians. So they're already here and it's coming, and I'd like to delay it, quite honestly, as long as possible. But, let Israel be Israel. By the way, we have news from Israel's Channel 12 News. They carried a report that the country's Air Force, which includes U.S.-made 16s, 15s, and F-35s, are already gearing up to deliver a retaliatory counterstrike against Iran. According to the report, the strike will be intended as a message that Israel will not allow an attack of that magnitude to pass without reaction. That's actually good. That's a good reaction from them. Because doesn't that sound limited? Am I looking for happy things?
Mm-hmm.
Am I just turning rocks going, oh no, that's a friendly worm. That's a friendly bug. The strike intended a message Israel will not allow an attack of that magnitude to pass without a reaction. Whew. Okay.